for taking time out of your valuable schedules to come in this evening and have a discussion about the future of Stark County's outdoor event centers, namely the Speedway and the fairgrounds. The thoughts behind what we're going to do tonight was kind of spearheaded by two actions that have kind of simultaneously taken place. One being the current tenant of our Speedway giving us notice that there was going to be a non-renewal of the lease that they were carrying. And then also, we've always been looking for thoughts and ideas on best path forward with the fairgrounds. And I think we're at a time when we have an opportunity to recreate the conversation if we want. Do we go down the same path as we have, or do we take a look at some new ideas on how to best utilize those facilities? So there is no formal formal action or formal things going on tonight. All we would ask is you can come up to the mic if you want, or speak from your chair. It is being recorded, so if you want to come up to the mic and state your name and state some of the ideas that may or may not be discussed, we'd certainly entertain and want you to do that. So, we have a little time to decide what direction or directions we go, but I would say not a lot of time. We kind of got to get things in place for next year. And so we're looking what works best for everybody who has been involved in these activities, because you're the ones who are using them. So I don't have any other comments. Does any of the other commissioners? It's supposed to be a listening meeting, so we don't want to be the ones doing all the talking. So I would certainly appreciate everybody, taking as much time as you need. Just don't go past Bernie's bedtime is all we got to worry about.
I got to drive to South Dakota, so
You're
my
going to
bedtime's
drive
gonna
to
be
South
late.
Dakota? Okay, so is there anybody who wants to start? If not, we can just say we'll start at one side of the room or not. So I seen Dustin raise his hands.
Start over there.
So,
What kind of position are we actually looking for here?
well,
That's my question. Are we looking for the PR person? Are we looking for the hands-on person? I mean,
I think it depends what direction we're going to go with the facilities. That's my personal
you're
opinion.
talking like leasing the track, renting it, selling it, the fairgrounds, what about that? I mean, that's what I'm
We
trying to
could.
get to here.
We could. You brought up the Speedway. Maybe we start with that conversation. I don't think we have any idea set in stone. We're open for whatever it is in the best interest of Stark County.
The people I've talked to on the Speedway, their biggest concern is, what are we getting? How much do they want for it? Do we just get the land? Do we get, they want to know what they're buying. And they haven't seen anything yet. I don't even know for sure what we own to tell them, other than we got the land out there and we got the track, we got the go-kart track, we got the motocross track, they got bleachers, all the race car stuff that they're used to seeing. But, like dollar amounts, I haven't heard anything dollar amounts, like property description, what equipment goes with it, what do we own? Do we own a grader? Do we own a truck? Do we, they're wondering about that stuff, and, I can't sell something that isn't there or they're not gonna get. Or how much stuff after the track is sold is all of a sudden gonna disappear. Somebody's gonna come out and say, well, I just let them use that. I want that back. No. That's what we're concerned with.
I guess I would ask a question. Do we know if we have an inventory list of stuff?
I was thinking about that the other day because someone was down at the bar asking me about it too, and it's like, well, I don't have an inventory list, no. I mean, I guess I could get ahold of Brad, but ask him if there's an inventory list.
Don't we have anything for under our insurance policy, the description?
Yeah, so we would have like the buildings, anything that's, we just don't have anything that's not worth a certain threshold, right? So permanent fixtures, we'd have on our insurance, so we'd have a list with that. And obviously, equipment, that is Stark County's, that's
So
how.
my question is, would you be doing an appraisal and coming up with a price, or how are we gonna determine? The first guy that comes along with a couple $100,000, he owns it, or, I mean, how are you gonna handle that? Do we put it out on bids, or?
Well, I think what we talked about at the last park meeting was to put out for an RFP.
Right.
With no limitations. If you have an interest in leasing it, express an interest in leasing it. If you have an interest in purchasing it, express an interest. There's no sense doing appraisals or any of this kind of stuff if everybody is in the lease mindset. And so if there's no interest in purchasing it, I think it would be a waste of our time to do an appraisal. But if someone's interested, then that would be a different conversation.
So how interested are we talking? Should I do it need to get somebody's name and number? And, I mean, I got two guys that are interested, but one's interested in buying. But I told him, I just threw a number out there that I've been hearing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He goes, well, what do I get for that? I go, well, I don't know what you get for that. So, I mean, so that conversation sort of stopped like about a month ago.
But, you know, we have not kept track of property out there ever since the previous people rented it, you know? People were bringing their own equipment out there. I mean, it's my portfolio. I should know what we own, but I do not.
And there's a lot of stuff out there, who knows, but.
Right.
I mean, you could make an offer and
Yeah.
we can negotiate that number, but there could be a due diligence period where you can make adjustments up or down depending on what's there.
Well, an inventory list, I think, is important. So the person knows what they're getting.
Well,
I can say I'll give you 150 grand, but then when I show up with the check and here some guy comes and he's taking this, he's taking that, I mean, you know, pretty soon I'm stuck with nothing, you know?
Yeah, well, Bailey could maybe ask, we have a blade out there.
there's a blade out there,
Anymore?
but I think that's Stark County's.
That's what I mean, we,
Yes.
the county has a blade out there that
Correct.
I don't think we would be in the mode of trying to.
And most
I
of the,
want, before you guys get too far into this, I want the county to be cognizant that there is statutes that apply to selling county property where you probably do have to have it appraised. It might have to go out on public auction. There's the difference between public and private. So all of those things need to be looked at before any concrete, I guess, ideas are set.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is that the century code addresses it,
It does.
how to dispose of property.
I mean, nobody has approached me either way as far as renting or purchasing. Nobody's approached me about it.
So if we lease the property, was leases, or what do we say this positions would have to do with the Speedway, if that's where we're gonna start?
I think, again, that's pretty flexible.
Okay.
If my idea is that the people who run the Speedway have a certain niche of expertise, which is a little different than somebody else might think. And so, part of the idea is we create a lease that is kind of targeted maybe towards it being what I would call in my industry a triple net lease, where everything is on the tenant. And we're not running out there blading, we're not running out there spraying weeds, we're not doing those kind of things, because that time might be better served at the fairgrounds or something like that, so.
And actually, we never had that stuff done before the last time when I was running the place. Stark County owned it already, but we did our own mowing, our own spraying, our own everything, and we never had you guys come out and do anything.
Right. Right.
and that's changed in the last couple of years.
Right.
But if we're gonna build a lease, we can build it that way.
Yes.
So as far as this position goes, the racetrack can be off the table, like, no concern,
If-
other than collecting a lease.
Yeah.
I get, or, collecting $1 and somebody to call with questions, but.
The person that would have the title of the racetrack as the promoter, that's the guy that's in.
Well, you're in that business, Frank. What do you see out there in other communities, other venues that would make that facility attractive, not attractive? What would have to be thought about so that it's kind of utilized in its best potential.
Well, as far as all the, just to give you a little background here, most of the racetracks in North Dakota are on a fairgrounds. Dutchman County Fairgrounds, Missouri Valley Fairgrounds, you know, the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. We're one of the only ones that's a separate area. You know, we were the only ones that were privately owned for years, until Leo Stockard sold it to Danny Honor and them, and then they sold it to them, and then the county got it. So that, but I think a person that we need to get on that as a promoter, somebody that has the time. That's what it needs. That's what we've been lacking. We've had cars, but we just have not had a guy with the time to go around to all these business places, let them know we have a racetrack out there, what the program consists of, what classes we run, how long the program runs, that type of thing. That's what people want to know when they come out there. Do you have concession? Do you, you know, they want to know what the amenities are. They're going to be sitting there in those stands for 3 or 4 hours. They want to know what's going on.
Could the promoters be the same as the leasee? Should be, right?
Possibly, yeah, that's usually the way it works.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, like,
what I
A lot
would
of
do.
times they lease it to a club, like in Minot State Fair, they lease it to Nodak Racing Club. Well, they got their own people, they take care of everything. And I think that's a situation we probably need to look at here. Sort of the way it's been, but.
It has, but the people that have been leasing it in the past 15 years, whatever, they've all had other jobs and other obligations. So, I mean, they run the races, they do what they can do to promote it, but maintenance on the facility has degraded overall, not only on the weeds and everything else, but everything's been neglected.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I've been gone since.
I'm just not pointing
2005.
our fingers at the last renters. I'm going back many, many years of neglect.
Oh, yeah, it's more than the last guy. It's going back 2 or 3 leases.
But yeah,
That's been a little bit of my concern with, well, I mean, and with this racetrack, for instance, okay? We lease the property to them for next to zero,
right.
okay? We give it to them. But we're still running our equipment out there. We're still doing some of the upkeep and whatnot. It's like, I'd like to find a renter or someone to put on a lease that would actually come in there, have the financial capabilities to take care of their business and run a business out there. That would be awesome. And get us out of it. It's either that or us just do it. One of the two.
I'm hoping that when we put this
I mean,
RFP out there,
because we're in the middle.
Yes, we are stuck in the middle.
We're stuck in the middle, and so, I mean,
that we find this person. I mean, I found this guy at the go-kart races last year in Washington City, wanted to write me a check for the place right now. I said, well, I can't do that. And, but I didn't get his name. But he is a guy that this would be his only job.
Well,
That's the kind of
that's what
guy
we
we
need.
really need. This is my job. This is how I'm gonna make a living. I'm gonna bust my butt to do the best job I can to fill those stands. Cause I have no other income. That's what we want.
So then would our director or events coordinator, whatever we're gonna be going with, have any overseeing over the management of this facility? I mean, you're gonna come out, your weeds need to get taken care of a little. I mean, does that person need to be sitting there with a little bit of a whip to say, you know, let's keep this place in shape?
well, it's still a Stark County property.
Right.
Which could fall under grounds and maintenance to go do a spot
Okay,
check and
that's
say,
fine, too.
hey, you know.
I mean, Wayne's not here, but you know, that's an extra burden on him.
Yeah, but, I mean, he could go out and do a spot, I mean, it's still our property, they need to maintain it at a certain level via the lease, right? There's some expectations put in the lease, if not,
How frequently are you out there?
This summer, you know, on a normal year, you would wanna mow, like, kinda do a whole, kind of grounds maintenance, whatever, the whole works every 2 weeks, ideally,
At the Speedway?
at the speedway. And with it being a wet year, every week and a half,
Yep,
like.
I can see that.
Last summer, I was out there at least every 3 weeks.
So, but since you're ready, kind of, could not Bailey
That's-
be the oversight. She's going out there once every week, once every 2 weeks, not to mow, but just to say, take a look at the facility. Hey, these doors were open, this window is broke, the grass needs to be mowed. Just take notes and send it through so that the leasee or whatever has to take care of it. That way it's being oversight.
And
That's what I'm looking for.
And that can be put in the lease as well, like if you're not keeping up on the grass or something, Stark County will send
That
somebody
makes a
out and bill that
difference
back
as
to you.
far as who you attract for racers too.
Of course.
You know, when racers come to a track, they see weeds and stuff right now, they go, wow, what kind of a crappy place is this? They show up, the weeds are mowed, everything looks nice, their attitude changes too. And you get higher quality drivers coming here, especially when we have the Dakota Modified Tour.
That's a big
You
deal.
got guys from 10 states here.
Yep.
They're gonna go back home and they're gonna tell somebody, yeah, that track of Dickens, man, they had weeds like this. They had
That's only because they
grass,
lost, though.
they had
If they'd win, they would not say a word about the weeds.
Except the guy that won, of course, he
Yeah,
wouldn't
right.
say nothing, but several of the racers have said we had the nicest track in 2005 after we got it done there.
Well,
They said we
That's-
have the nicest track.
that's 10 years ago, so we gotta move forward.
Yeah, so where are we on this RFP, if I may ask?
Math.
Well, I'd given, Amanda a little bit of. Hello? The RFP. Yeah, I mean, just some general guidelines for an RFP for this thing. I mean, get it out so we can get it out to the public and,
Okay.
you know, get some people in. Okay.
Okay, so that should be a goal, short-term goal here is to finalize that RFP, get it out in whatever fashion we're looking for, and then once we get feedback, if any, then we can kind of
So,
go down different lanes with,
And I think the RFP should include the option to purchase.
absolutely.
Whatever your proposal is,
Yep.
purchase or
Any and all
rent,
options.
you know?
Lease with option to purchase, whatever you wanna do.
subject to, the purchase would be subject to statute required by whatever.
And the reason this is important is because the racing season now is pretty much ended, and there's already rule changes coming out for next year. So you just can't sit on our hands forever here.
Yeah, we gotta stay on that schedule.
Yeah. I see another racer in the corner. You have any comments? Right, Alex?
To be honest, I guess, I don't have a ton of time to prepare.
Okay.
Kind of looking at, the facility in general, lease option, a solid lease option, the agreement that's good for both the county and well, there's some maintenance, you guys are already kind of attested to that there's some bigger things as far as maintenance, probably some updates, just like all buildings, all cars, everything, that needs to be done, and whether that be the person that's leasing it or apartment where, the apartment, the landlord takes care of it, and then the leaser pays a higher price, whatever it might be, Probably something to look at.
Okay, so a plan of action is let's get the RFP out, get it back in, make sure if you know people, if we know people, or Bernie knows people, try to not only publicly notice it, but sometimes you just have to reach out and kind of recruit that out there.
Yeah, once we get that, we can probably to the different clubs that are in the state, send it to them, send it to some of our racers. Word of mouth at that point will be the driving force, but we gotta get it to the key groups.
This guy that wants to write his checks either from Watford City or Williston. You know what that tells you? He's got a few pumpers in the backyard.
Anybody else have comments regarding Speedway? Alex?
Just one question, so with the lease that you guys would be writing up, would it be something that would be negotiable after the first one's been written?
Written? Well, yeah, I mean.
Well, you're not gonna sign it if you're not happy with it, so
Right.
that's when we negotiate it.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and forth and, yeah. I think the big focus for us would be that we don't have to send staff down to mow the grass, do the weeds. Those are the things where we're not taking assets 5 miles down and those kind of things. And then when there's other things to do potentially at the fairgrounds or something,
It's not even the fact of moving the assets, it's the people's time that we
Yeah.
are taking to move those assets.
Yeah.
You know, we're paying them, you know, how many hours a time just transferring equipment.
We've got in that other problem, you know, it used to be owned by a nonprofit or ran by a nonprofit, right? Well, now we're looking at for-profit businesses here. And how much support should this county be giving a for-profit business?
Right.
We have to draw that line somewhere, you know?
You all be part of the lease, you know?
High expectations and some follow-up is what we need,
Yes.
you know?
Okay. We can always come back to Speedway afterwards, but I think the next topic kind of would be, in general, would be the fairgrounds. Direct interest in that, so again, I would open it up, whoever wants to start, what you're seeing, what you're envisioning, what you would like to see, what you don't want to see.
I guess I would say one of the biggest questions I would have is the grounds upkeep. Is that gonna still fall under this person, or I think that's something that'll need to be, cause that's a big chunk of the time.
It is.
You know,
Especially
so
to keep
they're,
that- Keep that arena every week, sometimes twice a week. Keep it either dry or wet or
so
whatever you gotta
I
do.
mean, if this person's just gonna be scheduling, promoting, doing that, or are they gonna be sitting on a mower for 25 hours a week? Yeah, well, you got the other 20, but, you know, that I think
What-
bears a lot onto this.
What has been the Fair Association's role in upkeep or maintenance or preparation of the ground or whatever is thus far? It's basically been county
Yep, park
folks
board,
doing
yep,
it, park board doing it, right?
yep.
And, you know,
I mean, I go out there a couple evenings and help their weed eat and whatever, but nothing,
Just being a good dad that day.
Yeah.
Right? Just helping out. I
Yeah.
get it, yeah.
I mean, as far as events go, I mean, there's our list of events. That page and this page.
every weekend.
We've got stuff going on out there all the time. You know, like the barrel racing on Wednesdays, I mean, that thing's gotta be groomed for that, and then it's gotta get fixed up again for the next event that's happening that weekend.
Yep.
Well, then it's barrel racing against Wednesday again. So, I mean, yeah, this is a labor-intensive situation.
If this person's job description entails that, or if that's gonna fall under maintenance and, which, you know, Wayne would need another person then too, Bailey's time, and you still need another person in the summertime out there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of directions that could go if, you know, I think you need to have somebody in charge of facilities so that when the sink breaks out there, Bailey's not fixing a sink.
No.
You get somebody with the experience, and that could be a facilities thing. And then there could be individuals under that who are in charge of the grounds and the yard, you know, all that good stuff. I think that's an option. I'm not saying that's one we'd have to go down, but it would be the logical option if we're trying to look at enhancing promotion in that regard. Yeah, we don't want to understaff it because comment was just made. If you come there and the grounds aren't good, I don't care if it's a racetrack or a rodeo arena, that's critical.
Well, we all know what the rodeo grounds looked like before the college rodeo.
Yeah.
You know, and that was, you know, and then nothing against you because it was just forgotten about after our director left, so.
But it was, at the end of the day, it was very well received when they showed up. I can
Yes.
tell you that.
Yes, it was. Very pleased. So, I mean, now, I guess it comes down if we're looking for a marketing person, an events coordinator, or just a regular manager that takes care of everything.
All the above, maybe.
What person?
And then it is, but then, you know, the same situation we have had in the past, in the summertime, they're out there 60 or 80 hours a week. You know, weekends, nights, Saturdays, Sundays, even if they're not maybe just overseeing and coming out to check to make sure everything's working right for whoever's renting it. Then the winter comes, and so we need to figure out a way to keep them on a salary and somehow bank hours like we were trying to do in the past. We need, if we get somebody that's good, we don't want to lose them because we're only keeping them for 6 months. This has to be something that's permanent, that helps establish themselves into this position.
I mean, does anybody in the room think outside outside of the box and say, okay, this is what we could do in addition to what is also being currently done at the fairgrounds. I mean, I get some of that. You could do this, you could do that. I'm not, set on any of that, but.
You mean talk about different type of events, or what are you looking
Yeah,
for?
what else could you do out there? Because if there's more events, then that would lean me to be more inclined to say, the person that comes in would need to have events, promotion, and coordination skill set. If not, then you might be going down the same path you were. But, I mean, we have a great facility out there. Everybody who sees it acknowledges that. And I know in other areas that, those kind of facilities attract additional events. So if that's the case.
And
then-
actually is limited by people's imagination of what to use it for.
Could be.
But you have to have somebody that
You need
is
a
there to,
point person
yes,
to promote this and take those calls and work with them on their creative ideas.
and work with them on
Yeah.
interests that probably are not their interests, but would be an interest of a lot of other people.
So
Be
you
open-minded.
figure that This person would be hiring some people to do some of this work. I don't see one person handling all this work by themselves. I mean,
Well, that's why we're here.
depending on how big the
I mean-
slope's gonna get here. But
I'm hoping that Bailey's still there and she keeps her,
there's one full-time person alone without even adding anything on to it.
So explain to me the scenario. I mean, we know Rough Rider days, when you have the rodeo, you're the Rough Rider Commission, you guys bring all the volunteers to handle your rodeo, is that correct? Okay. Now, if you have another event, Little Britches Rodeo or the Ranch Rodeo or whatever you're having, where are the volunteers coming from for that? Fair Board does
So,
that,
well, the fair board, we're down to doing the kids fair and the ranch rodeo.
okay?
Those are the two events that we put on. The rest of the usage of the facility is, basically leasing it out and making sure it's, things are ready, the garbages are clean, the bathrooms are stocked, chime in, whatever else you do, but I mean, and the facility's mowed and that type of stuff, but
and the grounds are
ready.
ready for barrel racing or pole bending or calf roping, whatever, bull riding, whatever.
Well, which is typically a call to our road department to come out there and make sure those
That's what
grounds-
it has been.
Yeah, yeah.
So usually, like when we plan, like an equine event, it's up to the renters of the facility to come up with someone for the arena maintenance, like during their event.
During the events.
But
but-
other, like outside, everything outside of the event is what the county.
But we normally have the arena ready for them when they come to the event. They maintain it during the event.
Absolutely. Yep.
So if there's like a bull riding event and they come in, you get it ready, it's good. During the event, they're in charge of all that, and they're in charge of, how's the concessions divvied out usually?
That
That
will,
is up to the renter.
Okay,
So
so-
they can choose if,
Some
whether
bring
they
their own.
provide or, either get food trucks.
Yep.
It's up to the renter.
Okay.
So
So
you
when they're-
we prepare it, we give it to them fully prepared for their event, bull riding or whatever it is. So during the event, they're maintaining the ground. If the ground needs to get worked in that arena, they work it with our equipment.
we charge a rental for the tractor, yep.
Okay.
One of our sources of revenue.
And then a lot of, cleanup, say like stall rentals. Bailey would take care of all that during the events and then have to clean all the stalls afterwards, so.
And that's a part of the contract, just like the concessions, or they can choose whether the renter facilitates the stalls or whatever, or if this, SCFA does.
So in a sense, we don't need to change. I mean, we may be looking for this promoter type person to handle the logistics of all these events, but still having a maintenance assistant inside the park board to handle these type of things, right?
And one extra thing we're gonna have this year is gonna be the livestock building. There'll be a little maintenance involved there.
And other uses
Let's
of it.
hope, let's hope the thing gets used so much that we have to increase our maintenance things, right? I mean, that's kind of my attitude, whether it's the arena or the livestock building, any of those kind of things. So how many events do you have on your sheet there, Frank?
1, 2, 3, 4. basically 30 events, and some are 2 days, and some are longer. Some are 1 day.
And does that include the weekly barrel racers? Frank?
Dickinson State
But
College
that's,
Road,
that's the 25 schedule. What's the 26 schedule currently look like? Is
Well, we haven't gotten to that point yet. We're having a meeting next week, and we'll be electing new people and that kind of stuff, and kind of starting that deal from there.
But, you know, if we can get the barrel racers to come back weekly like they did, I mean, that was a big part of our,
Wednesday night, every Wednesday.
yes.
I mean, we had that Purina endurance thing, that was a whole week, you know. So,
They'd like
I
to
mean,
come
there's-
back again.
There's several of these that are.
And they
several
want to come
days.
back.
Well, you know, that's an example of a non-traditional rodeo arena event
Right.
that came in.
Right.
And they might go tell somebody else about something. So, I mean, that's where I'm coming from. You
Yes.
think outside the box and, okay, you know, it's not just equine events, it's things other
Oh,
than that,
definitely.
right?
Yes.
I mean, we're talking tractor pulls, we've had tractor pulls out there, we've had, you know, all kinds of other events
Yeah.
out there. And this Purina thing, I drove through there while they were doing it. There were license plates from all over the United States there. And they kinda did their own thing. I mean, they were building things and doing stuff that I don't know what they're doing, dogs.
So going back to the, the previous structure here, the Fair Association has leased the grounds, but Lisa, the park board has provided basically a full-time employee to the Fair Association, and she handled all the scheduling, right? All the promotion, all the scheduling, so on and so forth, right?
Yep.
But that's accurate-ish?
Well, sort of, yeah.
Okay, okay. Right. So, I mean, that really basically fell on the county to do. The scheduling and the promoting of it.
And is that not typical? I don't think it is, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have some thoughts here, and I mean, so I look at the Fair Association. I mean, what's your role, and what's your role going forward? What's the best use of the Fair Association? How do we get the most out of the Fair Association? I mean, you've got a lot of different roles. Volunteers obviously for various events. One thing that I think that the Fair Association, if we ever want to move the needle as far as capital improvements and building out there and expanding this thing, one thing could be, one focus could be fundraising, which.
That was a big part of our last meeting was fundraising and,
Okay, so if we're ever gonna get to that that next step of that next building, or whatever we're gonna put out there, if we could get the Fair Association focused there, more focused, I'm not saying you're not focused, but, make a focus on that. And then, volunteering, lining up volunteers to man these other things as they come up. But it sounds like a lot of the events, when people come in and do their events, the barrel racing, the rodeos or whatever, they're kind of bringing their own people a lot of times, right?
other than our two events.
Yeah.
And in the past, we've done more events, but it's just hard to get people to have time to do things.
I mean, everybody that's on the fair board's got other obligations.
Exactly.
So, I mean, we put up a date, it's like, you might get 3 people, you might get 5 people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a limited number of people there on the fair board too.
At some of the events, we appointed committees, and then that person that's in charge of that committee coordinates with the other members of the committee, and then they kind of report back to the board when we have a meeting. And, yeah, Stark County Fair Board applications. Step right up, don't be bashful.
Yeah. We always need, every organization needs more volunteers.
We never have enough.
More bodies. Well, I've given this thing a lot of thought about going forward. I think we have an opportunity here. I mean, we're here today to talk about trying to make things better. And that's hopefully successful. And we've got a great facility out there, which I think could be a regional draw, right, for a lot of things. So I would throw a proposal out, something to think about. I mean, some of my frustration as a commissioner and a park board member over the years has been the lines are kind of gray between the park board and the Fair Association. Who's responsible for what?
Well,
know, right?
You're right, you're totally, I agree with you.
You know,
I mean, statute says we have to have a fair board
yes,
and a park board.
yep, yep.
The fair board's all volunteers. Very fragile where we could, I mean, we just lost a member this last week. I mean, it's a very fragile organization to once we start losing members, it's gonna come back to the park board and fall on the park board's lap.
So maybe we want to create an environment where we want the Fair Association to feel like they're being supported and appreciated here, and maybe there's been a little lack of that, okay? But at the same time, on the county, on the accountability side, I get a little bit concerned sometimes, and I wonder if it just makes sense for the park board itself to take full control of the operations of the fairgrounds. Work with our departments, our grounds department, talk with Wayne, you know, really get the road department in the conversation here. I feel like we need to have a specific line in the road budget for fairgrounds support, you know? I mean, we get comments like that sometimes, you know, we're running, you know, things back and forth, the equipment back and forth to the fairgrounds. We get comments about that. I think if we're just open about it, yes, we are openly supporting this fairgrounds.
That's
We are-
fine.
We
So
are
that-
taking
That's the
care.
maintenance part of it, that's fine.
Yep.
The events and coordinating of events, and actually being somewhat of a leader in a direction, right word for it, I don't know, for the fair board, helping the fair board go in the right directions, because, I mean, we have Rough Rider Commission, we have 4-H, we've got the horse people, all with their own special interests, which is why we want them all to be a part of the board. But we need somebody that can take all those things together and
Coordinate them,
coordinate them.
yes. I mean, I've had.
Well, I mean, are we talking two different things? We take the maintenance and put that
On the county.
on the county with Wayne and the road department, and is the road department willing to do that? I mean, they have plenty to do too. They do a great job.
Yeah.
Without them, we never could have had the college rodeo the way we did.
And we've
John,
seen
yeah.
over the years where the road department has stepped up
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
Wintertime, summer, whatever, it's always been taken care of.
Yep. So we've got the resources at the county level. And, you know, and we should, you know, it should be you know, we should obviously visit with the road department, and then Wayne, of course, and we may have to expand, you know, Wayne's department a little bit to make sure, and, you know, cause I don't know, Bailey, if you can handle it all yourself, but maybe you can.
I don't,
But
in the
Wayne would-
summertime, it'd be tough.
But Wayne would be more involved in making sure the facilities, like the lights, you know, still turn on and the faucets are good and all that kind of stuff.
But even the maintenance of the arena, weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes when it's a flood and you got a foot of water and somebody's gotta be out there to pump the water out. Where's that gonna fall? Does it fall under Wayne? Does it fall under the county? Does it fall back on Bailey?
Well, I think would be a.
Well, and all three of them are the county.
Yeah, all three are the county.
That's true.
And like I said, we own the property, and it's like, and we're already putting forward resources already, so let's just own it.
Well, that's good, because I don't want this to end up like the Speedway.
Yeah, let's own it and take full control of that facility, and, so that there's no gray area where we can point the finger to the Fair Association, well, that was your job. No?
But my question would be is then what would the fair board's role be in this? then? How-
Well,
how'd
that's,
that be handled?
I would just, I just think you just remain a vital partner. I mean, this focusing on fundraising, you know, we
I'm
still
good with
need
that.
we still need volunteers for events. And being like ambassadors for the fairgrounds, right?
And that's what we should be.
Yeah, you know,
What, let me ask, I'm not, sorry to interrupt you, so what motivates someone to get on the fair board? I mean, I'm not on it, I know when I get on a booster board or something, it's because most of the time it's family involvement. Is that the same for the Fair Association? Is that the same for 4-H board?
Well, that's how I got on the fair board, is because we got a grant from the fair board for the Speedway. And I was the president of the Speedway at the time, so my incentive was to make sure I got my money every year. So that's how come I was there. Well, that's gone away a long time ago, but I've stayed around for 24 more years, but, you know.
I mean, I'm asking, you know, so you ask, what new role or what could we do to entice and make things better from the Fair Association or the Fair Board perspective? And I'm going, okay, what motivates people to get involved?
This summer, we got the horse club or equine or whatever fancy word you use for it. We got a member from them that got onto our board, and then she's bringing some volunteers, and she's bringing some events, which we have one in November. It's not our event, but it's our event, but, so I mean, people that have special interests that would probably want to use this facility are the people that we want to get interested in being on the board.
Typically, guys that join trap clubs, they like to shoot guns and they wanna, you know, and they wanna see, make things better,
Like
right?
we have the mounted horse shooting, out there,
Yeah. Yeah.
My question is, what does the Rough Rider Commission expect out of all of this? What are you guys looking for?
Did you say a facility to hold your event? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't catch the first part of it.
So you've been satisfied with the job we're doing?
College out there, that was why the fair board wanted us to move out there, which was fine, and it's a great facility. I mean, anyone in the countryside will say that's the best back bends and facility there is among the United States. I mean, it's top notch. But that's what we're looking for, is a place to have. And don't get me wrong, I mean, last year, we had our derby, the mud was that deep. They pushed the mud out with cats and loaders and stuff. It took me 4 days to get it back to have a rodeo the next weekend. And I was out there myself, 9-10 hours a day, just working the dirt and getting it back for weekend rodeo. As far as the dirt work goes, I'm the one that's out there doing the dirt all the time. For our events, even for the college one, I mean, I was the one that was out there making sure it was rodeo worthy and safe. And Mother Nature's not a friend for us all the time.
Yeah. So explain to me the relationship between the Rough Rider Commission and the Fair Association when it comes to actually what we call our county fair. What do we, how
Well, I'd
does
say
that?
it's good now. We had a few rough times, but I think things kind of leveled out. And just to second what you're saying, I talked to Jim Corco, does rodeos all around the country. He said, we got the top-notch place in Dickinson, North Dakota.
It is, it's great,
That's
it's a great
coming from a
facility.
guy who's been in the rodeo business for 50 years. or
So
more.
you say two events, one is the 4th of July rodeo and the other the demolition derby.
That's the two events that we hold.
And that's,
And we also do the show deal, but I mean,
The show deal, okay.
but those two events are part of what we call our county fair, right?
right.
Right, okay. And we have the carnival, which is that,
Yep, yep, park's out there too.
and you,
Yep, that's Rough
okay, you
Rider.
guys do the
Yep.
carnival as well?
Carnival, derby, rodeo.
Okay, and then we sprinkle in a little 4-H,
Well,
right?
that's ready to go this next spring,
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, and we've always had 4-H during the Rough Rider days, but, they'll have their own facility to do their event this year, right? Yeah.
And we did have a little problem last year with the carnival. 2 of them got
Yeah.
scheduled the same time. We gotta make sure that doesn't
Listen,
happen
so
again.
there's another point I was gonna bring up. I'll throw it out there. I have
mean, the
no idea what
circus,
the
not
reception is gonna
carnival.
be to this one, but
Circus.
does it make any sense whatsoever to have some sort of collaboration with the city of Dickinson for this position?
No,
Biggest benefactor
Yeah.
of the fairgrounds, the city's the biggest benefactor.
they are the biggest benefactor, but they concentrating on their own venue and keeping their own venue going. Do we want somebody to team up with somebody that doesn't look at us as their priority?
Well, I mean, could we share a position with them so we become, share a position with them so that we become a priority? I think this, an equal, and so that we could have some collaboration and some coordination so we're not doubling up on events. And, you think about it, those fairgrounds, City of Dickinson is the biggest benefactor of those
It is,
fairgrounds.
without a doubt.
There's no doubt about it. They have a stake in this. And I just wonder, I know that they have a good marketing department, and, I think they're doing okay with Legacy Square, and they would probably, I mean, they would have to add staff to do this, but I wonder if, and they just have a bigger footprint regionally, digitally, than the county does, and I wonder if they couldn't help us with promoting. So, I'd throw it out there.
I guess the question I would have, do they get inquiries now that they have promotion that they can't handle, that they just let slip a slide rather than refer them over to us?
I don't know, I think they would, understanding that, I think they would say, you know what, we can't do it, but, you know, I mean,
would
that,
hope.
that'd be part of the CVB's responsibility too, when somebody comes in and wants to do something, they direct them into which direction to go.
Yeah, we have many organizations that put on large events, you know, the DSU puts on several events throughout the summer. If you're bored in Dickinson in the summer, there's something wrong with you, so, or even in fall or spring, there's something going on all the time. I don't know if we can share, you know, in advance when we're planning this stuff out with each other to say
Well,
these are the dates.
there has to be a center point there, and that way you don't have the two circuses. I know that was not circus, carnivals. but
Carnival.
I know that was just a.
Well,
a-
they
you know,
came to Lisa.
An outlier, yeah.
Wanting to do the circus, and Lisa said, we have a circus in town that weekend, they wanted to rent it anyway, she did her job by renting it.
Sure.
You know, two things that I would like somehow to get drawn out to our facility is the Touch-A Truck and the Bakken Barbecue. The mayor will not give that up if it's up to him. You know, so then where's the conflict come with having their promoter promoting our facility?
Didn't somebody at this table make a comment that the Bakken has outgrown,
It has.
barbecue has outgrown its current facility?
It has, that's why I think we'd be great. We need to put more outlets underneath the bleachers on, you know, have more power for them out there, but I think that would be a great,
Well, like I said, and possibly with that collaboration with the city, they'd be more inclined to, you know, maybe use a good facility like ours, you know. I don't know, I think I like their marketing capabilities. You know, I think we could,
so, I mean, we had 30-some events this last summer. How much more can their marketing person put into our facility?
Well, I think if you're sharing, if you think on the lines of having additional, if we share some additional staff, then there would be. I guess that's the reason I asked the question, you know.
well, I look at scale of things. I mean, yeah, we have 30 events. I mean, I see your budget. I mean, maybe we can scale our events, larger events, more high profile
I'd love that,
events,
I'd
right?
love that.
And
And so I don't know if you're thinking of having Mr. Fong take this under his umbrella? Has anybody even approached him on it? Because he's,
I haven't, but
I
I
think his
mean-
hands, I think his
plate's full probably.
pretty full.
I don't know.
I don't know if he would.
Well, and maybe just part of the job description becomes collaboration with this person, this
Oh,
person,
I
this
think
person.
that, I mean,
You know-
this little thing that I think I drew up once,
I think you're right, we need a person that's gonna be working with this guy, because we can't put it over on them.
but I don't know, yeah,
I think.
I mean,
And I think depending on who you hire, you know, the city guy might be better at the concerts, the fairgrounds person might be better at the equine events or rodeo, you know, and, or whatever. I mean, if they can just get a relationship going and,
they need to have a relationship going, I'm not doubting that at all.
But
With
what
the
I-
CVB.
What I hear on the rodeo side of things, I mean, Rough Rider Commission puts it on. That's
Yeah.
their expertise. I mean, we don't need to have an expert, a rodeo expert to do this job. I mean,
but I think
they're
having,
scheduling.
knowing what needs to be ready for the facility, you know, and I mean, like Leon for his does pretty much everything as far as setting it up, but some of the other ones, you know, we get the mounted shooters out there, we get, you know, different,
Yeah, we leased
the polo
facility to
grounds, the,
The Rough Rider Commission.
what is it called, polo cross?
Polo cross, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think that could be a conversation that could be had. That may get received cold, it might get received conversation, we're making a mistake. Just see what, you know, I guess, just to do, to do the things the same way we've always done it isn't necessarily, that may be the right path, but I'm just saying, this is the
It
time.
needs to change.
To,
Yes. So if there would be, so you're talking a coordination between our director and their director, events coordinator, our events coordinator, or just one? So how does that person come into the fair board? And they still need to have some leadership to the fair board because we're all just volunteers with different interests. So they have to have some way of,
I would propose they come to the park board. You know, if we're gonna, if the park board would take over operational, on this thing and do all the scheduling and, you know, the whole 9 yards. That partnership would be between the city of Dickinson and the park board, the Stark County Park Board.
And I think between the city and the county, we have a broad community impact that can happen, you know, between the two. I think there's there would be a lot of interest.
No idea if there's any money available, but you know what? They could potentially be a funding partner on, I mean, all you can do is ask. They can say yes or no, right? But they could be, I mean, there's a possibility of another funding partner for events as well.
And there's also USDA Rural Development. That's a place to go that we haven't been in a while.
I didn't hear what you said.
USDA Rural Development.
Okay.
That's Tom Campbell now, I believe. And there may be some funding there.
I mean, going back to the Fair Association, what you guys, I mean, the work for the grant, you know, we got that grant for that building. That's a big deal. I mean,
Yes.
concentrating on getting grants for various things, like I said, and somehow, some way, at some point, we have to start some sort of campaign, capital campaign for the fairgrounds.
We did have a grant writing thing that somebody was going to get going and doing, but it didn't get done.
I think one thing maybe we don't all see, but maybe Bailey could shed some light on too, is, you know, these 36 events, there's contracts to be signed, there's insurance to be checked, there's, you know, lots of those little details, you know, extra promotions, getting advertising, getting those types of things. I mean,
That's a lot
of time. That's a
board.
big job. Yep.
Yes. And you're not-
A lot of it can be, like, when I'm scheduling an event, like, you talk to one person one day, but then, like, the planning doesn't stop after the contract's signed. Like, you keep in contact with them, and they'll often express, like, what they need from us, like, you know, what they need for their event, so.
Yeah, so you need someone, I mean, every event needs some, I mean, and that's falling on you right now as a fair association?
Yeah.
So, well, today, yeah.
Yeah.
because we don't have the director or events coordinator, there, it used to fall back onto Lisa and Bailey. Well, so now it falls on Bailey, which comes back to us.
Cause we're getting to the point, we're gonna have to start scheduling next year, you know.
Yep.
Definitely.
And, you know,
So
we
I
always
brought
gave
this up.
priority to, if you had that weekend last year, you get first shot at it again this year, so these things are gonna have to start happening and going through the
A
contracts
lot of
that are.
that gets done at our conventions, which is this next month, which, I mean, we won't have anybody in place at that point.
But, you know, one thing I was gonna bring up is that, one of the problems we have, like this thing at Kids Fair, which I've been involved with, it's difficult to get people to come here for 4 hours one day. You go to these conventions, you'll say, yeah, we want somebody to come for our fair. What do you got in mind? How many days is it gonna be? Well, it's one day from 11 to 3. Oh, we're not really interested driving all the way from Salt Lake City to Dickinson for a 4-hour show. Or, you know, the closest one I've been able to find is Wyoming. There's a place in Wyoming that's got a specialty act we could bring up. Last year we went to Wisconsin, you know, and we've been to South Dakota. We got a couple people from South Dakota coming up, Rapid City area, so that's not too bad, but it's tough to get these, you know, you're gonna pay $3,000-4,000 for 2 30-minute shows. They'll put on a show on right away, then they'll put on another one towards the end of the event. So they're coming up here for $3,000 to basically do an hour's worth of work. So, I mean, it's a tough deal, you know, we're spending a lot of money on this Kids Fair.
So the question to the Rough Rider Commission. So you know, we have the Rough Rider days, you know, that's spread out over 10 days, 11, 12, you know, even more than that. Would centralization or coordination of it, you know, of the administration and promotion help you at all, or is that a non-factor?
Everything we've got is set. You know, our rodeo starts it off, and then our rodeo or the 4-H is in between. Try not to lap over each other because of stock and stuff, but we're pretty much all set. I mean, as far as administration stuff wouldn't be great, but I mean, that's the biggest problem we've got nowadays, you know, it's the volunteer side. It used to be a 22-person committee, we're down to 11. Concert, but, I mean, concert, you can't hardly have a $200,000 concert. I mean, we're at $50 and that's dirt ass cheap. And you can't have a concert when you're giving them away for free downtown.
Yeah.
You can't break even and
Right.
stay.
You're
Forward
losing,
on that.
you're losing a lot of money because of the stage and the sound and promoters and.
And downtown, they have the stage already set up. We're bringing sound.
It is.
We weren't making money in the end. We were losing money every year on it.
Right.
After our fair days. And anybody that's in our budget for an act is down there. I mean, it's when after you get the list with them booking, they book almost 2 years in advance. When we're trying to book in the fall for something next spring, everything in our budgets aren't gone. A lot of those places, you have 30-day, you can't be within so many miles in 30 days. Or, I mean, as a con, you can't have the same person within the same long miles. Term was anymore, but that event just became so hard for us. Like, well, volunteers, you need 30 people. I think as a group, we're kind of set with our rodeo, our derby, our rodeo, which takes up 3 weekends, basically. Rodeo, and then you usually have had the fourth, kind of the following. That's how our rodeo works best. I mean, us being a lot of other rodeos in our circuit in our area are, so we're kind of held to that weekend in order to pull the contestants to come through that run. Held to that. We heard from the derby people that Linton always said their big derby on a derby back-to-back days. I've never been a derby car. Don't plan to ever be in a derby car, but I can see why they probably don't want to do it back-to-back days. So that's what kind of caused us to jump before the rodeo, was to get away from that 4th of July. Whether or not that's helped or hurt us, I don't know. Last year was a good year for us. We're kind of held to those 3 weekends. It's hard for us. But as a small group, it's hard for us to condense it anymore.
So did things work out better for you last year by having the dance afterward instead of fooling around with the concert, or?
I thought it kept people around. I mean, it helped our concession stand. It helped our beer gardens and stuff like that. That was a pretty relatively minor expense for us. We had the expense into the band. They brought their own sound. They brought their own lights. We put a couple car trailers together for a stage. As far as our money into it, but I thought it was perceived pretty well. I think it's something we'll get into again this year. We got a meeting coming up next week. Talk more into that, but it was something for us to add one more thing that would keep people around for a little while. I know we had a really good turnout on Saturday with our kids night out there. That was the fullest
What event was that?
of the rodeo, Saturday night
Okay.
rodeo. Then we had live music afterwards.
Are you seeing the ticket sales about the same, or is anything slumping off, or, I mean, and,
Rodeo in general is growing.
okay,
And the cowboy channels. And kids' night didn't hurt us at all, you know. We give them
We
their,
have
in the carnival.
And the
was there.
carnival's there the same, been there the same weekend as the rodeo, so the kids have been able to come. Carnival, parents got to go to the live music afterwards, it was kind of something to keep the whole family around.
Yep.
I'll be the first to move up to the podium. Give you folks a little history. Sitting in this room, I'm probably outside of maybe Frank over here and maybe Leon. I've had 40-plus years involved in a fair board or fairs throughout my career. Prior to that, when I was a kid, I showed at them. So I've had many, many years involved with it. To answer your question, Mr. Messer, about why people join fair boards is because they have a passion for that. When I think of the Stark County situation and the Fair Association, and a passion for that, it's probably due to maybe not a true fair over the years, for many years. And so people don't really sense that. I worked at Slope County. I was involved with that county fair, and I'm going to address the issue of these layers that are happening here. Stark County Commission, Stark County Park Board, Stark County Fair Association, and then the other entities like Rough Rider Commission and 4-H getting involved. Until I came to Stark County, there was no park boards involved. There was a commission. They levied the money, mill levy, went right directly to the fair associations, fair boards. They ran those. I was in Slope County. They ran that fair. Left Slope County and went to Stutzman County. They had a fair association, fair board. They ran that week, okay? I went up to Foster County, same thing. They ran that county fair. Things that happened outside of that week, those grounds were leased out, kind of like what's happening today from these people. And they're, whatever those lease agreements were made up to be. Today, I am heavily involved in the North Dakota State Fair, heavily involved. The North Dakota State Fair Board is responsible for 9 days. That board looks at 9 days, does all of the activities within those 9 days, all of the scheduling. They do all of the contracts with, the entertainers, the food vendors, lock, stock, barrel. They work with everybody that handles in that from the standpoint of scheduling. State Fair Board, outside of the state fair, yeah, they're also responsible for managing that whole facility, the money. They rent that thing out. I don't know. It's probably rented out all the time. So, these layers that come in there, that makes things confusing, challenging as to who's doing what, who's responsible. When I go to the state fair and I'm working up there during the summer, I know exactly who I need to talk to when I'm running a 4-H beef show at that state fair. When we need something for that, I know exactly the person, but I've been around long enough, a lot like the dinosaurs. And so, I've made those connections. Now you bring somebody new in, and I don't care whether it's into the Fair Association, you hire somebody new, it's going to take those folks time to understand and make those connections in those networks and figure out how you're going to do it. So I think right now you guys, as far as drafting and what you're up to for putting some kind of a job description together for a person, whether it's through the Fair Association, whether it's through a park board, county commission, very critical, because that's going to drive the ability for that person to know what their job is to do, to help this thing function. Leon made a statement a little earlier about they tried to not overlap our 4-H events here just because of stuff. Hopefully, that's not gonna be too big of a challenge in the near future with this facility coming up. With this facility, you know, I was out there the other day, I think I seen some footings going in the ground. So there can be some of those overlaps. Maybe we can start to move towards what I'm gonna call a true fair. Everything at the same location, one-stop shop for everybody. The missing link to all of that is gonna be from our standpoint, from the 4-H. There is no place out there south of town that can handle inside exhibits currently. Bernie, you're not bringing your pie out there and storing it in some place that's on a dirt floor.
I agree, like, yeah,
You know,
blue ribbon.
those people that make their clothing exhibits, they're not coming out there, and they're not gonna hang them in that building with that dust.
Can't.
No. So until that facility, something like that can handle those things, you know, that stuff is still gonna have to stay off of grounds out there. Kind of talk a little bit about the new facility that's gonna go up. I would suspect if that facility was up and running, today's what, October 15, 16? If that was ready to rock and roll November 1, the 4-H indoor archers would want to be using it. As long as they can tolerate it's not climate controlled. They would be in there practicing as long as they're bundled up, keep the weather off of them. So there's lots of things that can happen. I know that archery program is huge. It wants to grow, just like Rough Rider Commission has already said. What is holding that archery program back is volunteers, certified adult instructors. We get more people that start to buy into that stuff, that thing will grow. Ransom County built a building about a year ago. Their youth program through archery more than doubled just because of their archery program. So just some comments that, you know, my history, 40 plus years going through this stuff, to help you maybe think about which direction you might be wanting to go. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Ball's in your court.
All's in our court. Well, I guess I would look to fellow commissioners for comments and questions and
What I want is somebody that is gonna be dedicated to us. I don't care if they work with the city, I don't care if they're part of the city. I want them to work with us. I want them to not only promote the fairgrounds, I want them promoting Stark County. And so, I mean, if there's a conflict of interest there, that's why I struggle, but I want them to be dedicated to us, because we have a facility there that is right now unmatched, and I don't wanna see it have issues.
So I just,
think that person would sort of be under the direction of the mayor? I mean, if he's gonna be on board with this thing, that's gonna make a difference, I think.
No, he'd be under Scott, under Dossinger's
Or, yeah.
umbrella.
So my feedback would be, you know, I appreciate everybody coming out here, because, I mean, there's a lot of utilization that could be used for that facility. There's been many discussions about it. We've seen this last year with some of the dog stuff and some of the polo, the feedback on utilization even in the winter months, not just seasonal. We had a person that, you know, that was here and then was not a full-time in the winter months, right? But was collecting a salary as well, so.
They need to bank their hours somehow then. But yeah, go ahead.
But how do you account for those, right? I mean, that's the problem. I can tell you I worked 90 hours this week when I'm salary, right? And just tell you I worked 90 hours.
Well, it's
this
gotta
week,
be
right?
accountable, yeah, you're right.
So-
That was,
I mean, I see some of our root causes of issues anywhere is the lack of volunteers. I mean, how do we get volunteers? I mean, how do we, some places do well with volunteers. Some people have, their volunteerism has been dropping off. I think people, when they volunteer, some of them want to be recognized. Some don't, most don't, but I don't know how we
You burn,
appreciate those
volunteers get burnt
volunteers.
out because they get overused.
Correct.
So, listening to Kurt, he brought up, I mean, everywhere that all these counties that you were at, they basically compartmentalized the Fair Association to taking care of those 2 weeks of the county fair, and that's it.
Pretty much.
I mean, does that make some sense here I mean, instead of stretching you guys out as a fair association and trying to handle all these events on your own, all these other things? Well,
So did they have a director that took care of maintain, I mean, they had to have other events during the year other than that 1 week or 2 weeks.
that's what I'm saying.
They have
the
to have
county
other
could do
events
that.
going on. Who coordinated that?
Slope County, it was pretty much just a straight volunteer board, just a straight volunteer board. Their main use down there, when I was there, now keep this in mind, they've made a lot of changes to those grounds since I've left. They've grown. I know they've had some dinner theaters. Who's been responsible for those down there? I couldn't answer that. But when I was there, the main use was that week of the fair. The 4-H and the Fair Association took that. Of course, they had at that time, where did Leon go? Maybe the restroom where I had to go to. I think it was they used to call it a slope summer circuit rodeo. There was people on the Fair Association, Fair Board down there that represented it, which would be the Rough Rider Commission. They handled those things, but everything came through the Fair Board. When I was over in Stutzman County, that was a 1-year deal. Their Fair Board kind of took care of everything that week. What happened during the non-fair week, I'm not positive on that. Foster County, they've grown quite a bit. They've taken some buildings since I've left and they've made them into like a big community center. And I know they've had weddings at those because I've gone back for some wedding events and those things are leased out. I'm not sure, I can't answer your question, Paul. Is it being through their fair association or not? But think of their community size compared to us here in Dickinson. North Dakota State Fair Board. They have a director. Their director, Craig Rudland is his name.
And that's a paid position through the.
Yep, that's a paid position, and they have staff up there.
Is there anything that says the Fair Association can't have a paid position?
No,
It's kind of up to them.
that's up to them. You go to various other places, and I'm not, close to us, McKenzie County, but we don't want to compare. That's a whole different animal in McKenzie County with their facility that they've got up there. But they have a full-time director that handles that facility and all of their other events. And I think there's staff involved up there.
What county?
McKenzie County, Watford City.
Yes.
But they have an indoor heated facility.
Oh, yeah, that's
A paid parking lot.
So going back to.
there's probably functions at the state fair. I know there's stuff that the facility at the North Dakota State Fair has lost to McKenzie County now.
So, I mean, because you guys are having a tough time getting volunteers, right? And stretching you out across all these other events. So I look at even on the money side of things here. So the county commission or through the park board gives the Fair Association a certain amount of money to hold the county fair, right? Well, no, it's not. That's my point. That money that we give, that $500,000 that we give to the Fair Association is to hold the county fair. Technically, it's supposed to be for the county fair only. Okay. So, you know, to put on all these other events, we're still helping to fund a lot of these other events. And I look at us trying to like, well, can we make some sense out of it? Can we actually, so we've got Bailey, we're talking about funding another position at the county level here, for event planner, whatever this person looks like. So we know we're gonna add someone to this mix here, which is gonna cost the county some money. Plus, we're providing maintenance, road department time, equipment, so on and so forth. So how does the county square that financially? You know, if we were to take control of all events outside of the county fair and possibly take in the revenue from that, maybe we can square that a little bit financially. Maybe it makes more sense for us to do that.
I can just say one thing about that, just from the Kids Fair committee that I did last year. I spent 6 months on that Kids Fair. Getting contracts signed, sending things back and forth, rounding up sponsors for the T-shirts and making sure the contracts that we signed, that the people showed up, which a few of them never signed contracts, they never showed up either. So I mean, it's a lot more than just,
Oh, I'm not minimizing what your guys' efforts, but I know you guys are struggling with manpower too.
but so what do we tell these other 32 events? If we just do that fair thing, what do we tell these other 32 people then?
Talk to the county.
Call the park board.
Call the park
Okay.
board.
Well, where are you gonna get the help?
They're gonna hire it.
Well, we'll hire it, or, I mean, a lot of these events are bringing their own help too. I mean, and outside this kids fair thing that you put on, I know that, but.
And
we
currently,
have
since I've been on the road department, it's monthly, we're having discussions about something out at the Speedway or helping out at the fairgrounds with blades, with people, with their guys pulling weeds, spraying, whatever needs the help. So, I think they've even helped the little city park up there on a wagon wheel once in a
Yeah,
step.
absolutely, they have.
So,
I'm gonna bring this up, and I mean, it's kind of far out there, but it happened. Red River Valley has now taken over the operation of the Speedway in Fargo. They're running it now. They're the promoters of the racetrack. Red River Valley Fair Association. County, they're the ones doing the racetrack down in Fargo.
County or the Fair Association?
Well, they call it the same thing basically down there. They don't separate them. They got Cody Cashman, who is the Red River Valley Fair Director type thing. They're taking over the Speedway. I don't know how that's gonna work. Nobody thinks it's gonna work, but they think it's gonna work.
That, they have considerable full-time staff down at the Red River.
sure.
I mean, and it's not those people doing the fairground maintenance, you know, I mean, they're hiring that stuff out. You know, I've talked to other counties, you know, yeah, they get their mill or their half mill and that's their budget and they sub that out, like all the maintenance. You know, they hire someone from their town to do the mow and do the weed whacking. They don't take care of that themselves, they sub that out. You know, they take their funding and do things.
Well, that was one of the things I thought of, or in my mind, was when we were talking earlier. Sometimes there's merit to third-party vendors, right? Because then, you know, the work gets done. It might cost you a little more because it's not done on the taxpayer dime. But the fact of the matter it would get done. And one thing that was brought to my attention after the DSU event is that there's companies that go around and all they do is condition rodeo soils, right? And they make sure when you have an event, they come to town and it's what you want. Evidently, one event has a little different requirement than another event, and they do it. I have no idea what it is for cost, but I'm just saying at some point for these little specific smaller things, I don't think we need to worry about a full-time staff or a part-time staff if it can be done by third party. Again, that's just a comment. I'm not set in that, but I'm just saying don't throw that out as an option.
I'm just saying that there's a lot more wheels turning here than what it shows. I mean, there's a lot, I mean, we have monthly meetings, we have subcommittee meetings. I mean, it's a lot of stuff there. I mean,
too is whatever's decided now, hopefully going forward has to be revisited as you add a climate-controlled building. Have opportunities for even more activities year-round. That changes the game tremendously as far as what you. Because right now, I mean, most of your vast majority of what goes on out there in the summer, and it's college students or summer jobs for these. Start adding and getting more and more facilities out there, it's gonna be year-round.
Just to back up one more thing on the lease, what about the motocross track at the go-kart track? Put that in there with that there.
Well, that's part of the
That's
ground.
part of it.
That's part of the grounds.
Well, they're all a separate organization, though. The motocross group is not the same as the race car group.
So are you saying the people that you've talked to are only interested in one of the three
No,
tracks?
no, but it's just that the motocross track has kind of been.
Well, right now, the Speedway people are renting out the motocross, aren't they? Is that the way it's working? I'm not sure.
They're
That
subleasing?
wasn't the way
And-
it
and-
worked. They were a
yes, they
separate
are.
organization when I was there.
Really?
And they maintained their stuff, we maintained our stuff. Whether that's still
So-
happening, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good point, but then that takes me closer to your original comment where you have one guy promoting the whole facility.
Right.
And that individual, he or she would go out and do the go-kart, would do these things so that the facility is used.
Full-time job to do 3 tracks.
So what, I mean, somebody want to visit with Mr. Fong at all, or?
I think that's merit. I think getting this RFP finalized where we send it out is
For the Speedway?
for the speedways.
I'm talking, I'm looking
Yeah, for the
at
fairgrounds.
fairgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, we have to have those conversations, so you either check the box or throw it away.
I mean, I looked at you had put some stuff together, Bernie, as far as job description and whatnot. I mean,
I'm interested looking it up, county fairgrounds, section 4 of the Century Code.
Okay.
I mean, not that much different than the job description that Lisa had, really. I mean,
I have no idea. I've never seen Lisa's. What I did is went to the city, I got, Mr. Fong's job description. I modified it, and then, HR went through it and modified it a little bit more and put it in a different format.
yeah. I mean, it's basically the same thing, for the most part. I mean, ours is actually, this is Lisa's, the former directors. So, I mean, we are looking for that type of person, ultimately, you know.
So after tonight, now, what's the next step, you guys?
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, so, again, this is informal discussion, but what I'm reading is, let's get the RFP out for the Speedway. Let's have a couple conversations with a couple of the critical groups for the fairgrounds and see if, and then obviously have a visit with the city, because if that's not an option, then we have to fine tune what direction we're going and set some goals. Part of what I'm hearing is that before I walked in the room tonight, I thought there was opportunities for other events out there that we haven't thought about or whatever, and that
I don't know.
doesn't necessarily, it hasn't.
I don't know if the
chimed in.
advertising got out. I mean, as far as this meeting happening, I mean,
Was it, I don't know, was it earlier this year that we had the discussion at the Extension Center about the growth of the facility out there? There was other people that came from other facilities to talk, right, when we were just having that discussion 4-H?
That was last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. At least I remember.
How could you forget?
at least you remember it.
So, I mean, some of those people that got up and spoke that discussed of some of the events that could possibly take place when they were either managing or with other facilities like that.
And I would reach out to anybody in this room who has conversations or thoughts after today, that you please reach out and say, have you thought about this? Don't do this, try to think about this, so that we continue to do this, because like I said, I think we have to get some direction in not the immediate future, but the near future.
Well, I'd like to have more input from the Fair Association about how you see your role going forward. I mean, do you want it to continue right down the same path you've been in, or do you want to see something different, or, Do you lack support? You want more support in this area? I mean, I'd like to hear more from you.
When's your next meeting?
Next Wednesday. You want to be on the agenda?
I'd just like to be there. I mean, hopefully this is a conversation
Yep.
that you have, what your future looks like. There's a lot on the table. We talked a lot about different things here today, but
Next Wednesday at 6, what time is it?
5:30,
5:30, yep.
right
Here-
here.
do you have it here?
Yes.
No, it's in.
No,
is
it's
it
right here.
Or is it, oh, okay. Used to be.
What date's Wednesday? Thank you. For the action items that we got to discuss with Mr. Fong, an RFP, lease options with Amanda, but if there's any
I'm
legal.
gonna throw a
some of
little
those-
wrench into everything right now. So I texted Brad and I says, is there a list of what the property Stark County owns at the Speedway? Not land, but other things. I have a list that I am selling the group that would like to take over the lease. They have given me half the money and are paying me the rest before the new year. But that is a list of what I own. I could possibly come up with a list of what the county owns. It might take a bit. Is the county not opening to having them take over and stay open?
The lease
They
is
said
free.
we were just trying to figure it out and doing an RFP. Okay, I know the group is working on all the stuff. Basically, it's not bolted down. We own it. I bought all the previous group's operating equipment and I'm just reselling it to them. I work on a list of the county equipment. I said, okay.
Okay, well, you would think he would have received a list from the previous group, hopefully. That would have been due diligent.
I don't think so.
No, it just, hey, that,
They just took over.
just, okay, a little loose, huh? All right.
Well, and how long is our lease agreement with?
It was 3 years with these guys.
Okay, and it's up.
It's up, but
December
that's why they're
31.
not renewing it. But there's another group that wants to come in and lease it,
Well,
which
then they
is part
should-
of the
yeah,
same group.
We should reach out to them and have them also respond to the RFP, without a doubt.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
So. And I've had other calls where, hey, they're saying, hey, we're trying to work on something. Whether they are interested, have the ability, to me, it's also the ability to perform, so that, if.
Well, that's probably one of the biggest things here is like, what's the capability of the organization to actually get it done? We all love racing, it's fine, but can you actually, manage all the maintenance and everything that, it's a big money commitment.
Financially, yes.
Just wanna make sure there's financial vetting on these people that take over. County doesn't end up getting stuck for the bills after the season ends. I've had to go around and pay all those.
Anybody else? Food for thought, good of the order? A lot of great comments. Got done fast. 90 minutes is nice. Okay, except for the attorney wanting to bill it $200 an hour. Okay, like I said, we don't need anything formal. I appreciate it, and if there's any thoughts or comments, please reach out to any one of us. Thank you.
I got some.